You know, I've been playing video games for a very long time now. From playing Tekken 3 at my grandparents' house, to playing Pokemon while on long road trips. Or while being stuck in the floor. And in rare occasions will I ever put a game on my personal favorites of all time. And in even rarer cases will a game make my list for some of the most random reasons. And so I'd like to announce joining the ranks, Elden Ring. I recently just got all the achievements in the game and I just can't bring myself to put it down. So I thought I'd make a video to try to clearly formulate my own opinions and thoughts on the game. Also, spoilers ahead, I guess, if you haven't played the game yet.
Oh yes, maidenless, shall we?
When I started my first playthrough of Elden Ring, I started out with the Uchigatana, and after whacking Morgan a few times, I noticed that I chunked off a good bit of health, and it was then that I learned that the bleed build was for me. Eventually, I came across a weird-looking dentist that offered to give me his weapon after I beat him around a few times, which then snowballed me into finding a black whetstone blade, and you can guess where this is going. That's right, I'm talking about a bleed-procking Godskin peeler. I mean, I'm already handicapped in real life, I might as well handicap the game too. And at some point I came across this extremely large hammer, and I thought, man, I really want to use this thing, but I really don't want to have to respec. So I got to the end of the game, killed God, and made a new character. And this character consisted of, you guessed it, 2 grafted greatswords. But I also have the hammers. And it was during this playthrough that I got smacked in the face by a black flame fireball, and I thought to myself, man, I should try a magic build. And so I got to the end of the game, killed God, and started a new character. And so, once half of my magic missed the enemies because they kept jumping out of the way, that's when it hit me. I miss hitting things. So, I got to the end of the menu, quit game, and started a new character. And thus this shitty looking paladin was born. And that's when it all came together for me. I love the variety in this game. And not just the variety itself, but how accessible a lot of things are so early on. If you had the persistence, dedication, and knowledge of what you were doing, you could straight up just walk up to Smedma Apostle and steal his toothpick from him. And that's right as soon as you start the game. Or, better yet, you can say, fuck Margarita, fuck Stormvale Castle, I'm off to serve my queen, and fight a giant space worm, and then turn his genitals into a magical flail. But I mean, let's be honest here. Can you really call it early game if you're fighting Radon and Estelle? Maybe. I just like finding new and unique weapons and spells to humiliate Godric with. Speaking of pathetic shard bearers. No, I'm not joking. I will unironically start a new playthrough just so I can fight Godric the Grafted. This section was originally going to be all about how I like fighting Godric, me even going into depth about the fight itself. But this channel is run by a stupid parallelogram that can't articulate his words properly, nor bear to stand the thought of making a multi-hour video about one topic, only to spend 45 minutes talking about one specific key point. In the ever-evolving tapestry of Elden Ring, the lore is as labyrinthian as it is enigmatic, cloaked in the shrouds of mystery and ancient riddles. It was under this veil of secrecy that we endeavored to unravel the intricate saga of Morgoth, the Omen King, believing we had pieced together the fragments of his story. Whether they're hard, easy, challenging, or anywhere in between there, I love so many of the bosses in here. Malenia, Rykard, Godskin Apostle, fuck Godskin Duo. Fighting and successfully beating them will always bring me a level of satisfaction. Like I mentioned earlier, I do appreciate the level of freedom the game gives you when it comes to picking which bosses you want to fight. You're never really brick-walled at a certain spot until you beat them. Like, you're never stuck in Langdale if you can't get past Morgoth. You can't be stuck in Mountaintops if you can't beat Fire Giant, and you definitely are not stuck in Farum Azula if you can't beat Malekith. Hell, you have to fight 2 Sharpbearers to gain access into Langdale, and there's 5 of them available to you for you to work towards. You just have to take your pick. Look, I say all of this to say, fuck Godskin Doughboy. This is a bit of a smaller point, but I still feel like it goes a pretty long way. I like helping people in this game. For me, it doesn't matter whether we're fighting Margit, Godskin Duo, or even Fire Giant. This kind of circles back to what I mentioned before about starting a new character just to fight Godric again, except this time it's to help new and inexperienced players get through a boss that they may be struggling early on. I get the simple satisfaction of helping someone that might have been struggling in the game, and they can finally get that burden off their shoulders that was the boss that they were stuck on. Until inevitably, when they reach Borealis the fuck you dragon, where I will unfortunately be summoned to multitudes of times, only to be wiped out and resummoned again. I will never activate this effigy. And if you're anything like me as a high level player, you just summon to just fight a boss and get it over with. So for all of you out there still summoning for the uncircumcised duo, I feel you. You know, I've only listed like 3 things on here, and I've already run out of things to talk about. During me recording this, I caught myself numerous times trying to think of things to like, and I realized, wow, that kind of doesn't sound real at all. I mean, sure, we could talk about how beautiful the map is, or how much fun all the other bosses can be, but as stated previously, none of them really tickled my pickle quite like fighting Godric. Maybe Melania, but I really don't feel like going through the entire game over and over again just to get to her. Well, I guess the only thing I have left to do is a randomizer playthrough. I may or may not do it live. And until then, I look forward to the new DLC drop, where they'll probably give us a Kingdom Hearts 2 styled 1000 Heartless battle. But all of the Heartless are actually Godskin duos with a few Mordots jumping around. This should probably give us another fight with Mode and Mordot at the same time, and name him Mogort. That'll be fun. Having him jump around, and heal everything.